Hey everyone, Strangers103 here today with yet another ranked replay analysis. We are looking at a Shima game on Warrior's Path. In my opinion, Warrior's Path is the most difficult map to play a Shima on. This replay is, see there we go, played by L1NV5, and it's a double destroyer game. They get a Young Gearing, Minnow Des Moines. So these are pretty annoying ships, though Young isn't really that dangerous. We don't have to worry about the torpedoes. Heading towards A is always a massive risk on this map, although we've announced we're heading here. We get double Des Moines, they potentially get a Minotaur radar. Judging by it being, I'm assuming this is an A, because APOC, so I'm assuming it's NA, but the chances are that's a radar Minotaur, at least would expect it to be. We're running T93 M3s as our torpedoes. We can see that on the 12 kilometers here with normal range on our guns. Non-premium damage control party, but looks like everything else is premium. This is not recommendable at all. The damage control party in ranked is pretty important on a destroyer. Sure, you might not think that was a minute is that long of a time, but if you do end up getting shot at a bit, that really is quite important to have. Anyways, we're not using our engine boost. Another mistake. If you want to go to a cap at the start, always use your engine boost. Just, just do it. It's generally a very useful thing. It can save you a lot of bother. Survivability expert on the captain. Good choice to have, especially if you want to play ranked with Ishima. You pretty much have to have this. I wouldn't offer anyone smoke at this point. Sure, we're going to be permanently radared pretty much if their stuff comes over here, but yeah. If you're going in like this, we're basically committing to the island, and you're going to stay on the island for a good chunk of time, because these guys will just permanently suppress you. A lot of our forces over here. This Zhao is, well, he needs, what a horrible name, but if he wants to be useful, he needs to get himself over there ASAP. We're pinging the other side, and here comes radar in 3, 2, 1. Radar! Come on, enemy team. There it is. Bit on the later end of their side, but oh dear, that's a Minotaur, so we pretty much just have to tuck ourselves behind there immediately. Otherwise, we're just going to heavily bleed. In fact, we might even just consider running. That was ridiculous. I never get that kind of RNG. Anyways, turning starboard here is a mistake. You wanted to turn hard port to ram yourself into the island. That way, that Young wouldn't be able to shoot us, because we can just ram ourselves in there and reverse. And oop, that's bad. Time to Damacon. And also time to have a look at what's actually in a position to shoot us. Smoking here is a giant waste of effort. In fact, smoke here is really just making our life even harder, because it means we're going to have a hard time spotting stuff that's going to be approaching us in case our Des Moines isn't doing it. So again, committing to the island. If you go to the island, you commit to the island. You stay on the island, and in the double radar game, you basically just die on the island. Anyway, spot our luck, the Young doesn't want to continue shooting at us. The chances are, actually, never mind. I take that statement back. He wanted to get the reset. We should be reversing right now because, well, only the Young is in a position to engage us. The Minotaur's gotten himself behind an island right now. And, well, like I said, we're going to find ourselves being permanently radared because, hey, welcome to World of Warships. A-cap is really, really bad for the Shimmy. A-cap is really, really bad overall, let's be completely fair. Shimmy's much better over here. Normally what I do on this map is go here, come back around, torp through here, loiter around the middle, see what's up. Leaving right now is a massive risk because of the fact that the Des Moines, Des Moines Young, we don't really know the exact radars and whatnot. We could have taken a risk and poked to try just torp the enemy's Mineral, but knowing what's going on, it's probably better just to get out of the Des Moines range and not get ourselves back for the Young. And a potential launch idea would just be to launch torpedoes down here to catch, down, probably even more like this, in an attempt to catch the enemy's Young if he's trying to return. But looks like we're launching a couple of salvos in the general direction of Des Moines, but looks like Young is coming back, so like I would have blanketed over here in an attempt to catch the Young, trying to get blanketed like this to try to catch the Young, looping around like this back into the cap. But even then, he might take some of these if he's on the way back home. You never really know. But we're off to a really, really shitty start because, well, health is permanent and, well, caps aren't. A cap can be always retaken at any given point. And without our engine boost, we don't really want to be loitering around over here. It's a really risky thing to do because, well, sure, we out-camo the Young, but if the Young has radar, we don't really have any advantage there. So it is definitely a bit of a risk. Looks like we're lining up torpedoes to launch, there we go, into the cap, hoping that someone may sail into them. Could have potentially launch against the Minotaur, but we do need to be careful that if he does decide to come back again, well, if he has a radar up, which he will, we're in trouble. And there we go, that's almost certainly the Yueyang radar, most likely. And there we go, it's expired, so it could have been that. It could have been Des Moines or Minotaur trying to use one, we don't really know. Now, one of our guys is calling that he's almost got radar up, but we're not really going to be able to reset this on time, I think. I'm not actually sure, unless our other Des Moines happens to have a radar available, but some of these guys should, unless they've been using it. But at the moment, pretty much the entire enemy fleet's been spotted. We know where all of them are, except for one gearing, but, you know, someone can't see, and it cannot be anything else, otherwise, you know, we would have known about it. There we go, Yueyang gets spotted, but there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. He got the cap already, so that's kind of just a wasted radar. I mean, we could smoke up and plink away at him if he tries to make any moves. Other ones do have actually a pretty decent series of shots against him, and he's actually kind of in the open, so I wouldn't even bother launching on the Yueyang at all. I probably would save him all to try to get the Hindenburg, and just smoke up right here and plink away at the Yueyang. Because, well, shimmy guns are not bad, and the guy's just gonna hide behind the island, like... if we just zoom in here a little bit, you can see the other ones can't really shoot him anymore. Yeah, sure, we can torpedo him, but that's never going to guarantee a kill on him. Smoking up here during the radar is basically a guaranteed kill against them. And, well, only the Hindenburg at worst can really do something about it. So, I definitely believe that was a bit of a missed opportunity over there. I mean, we could get lucky that the Yueyang decide to, you know, just bail and sail into a torpedo. But, again, I wouldn't really count on that. And at the moment, it does not look to be the case, because our angle just isn't good enough. Using a suppose we need to kill him to get a kill, and then, you know, a cruiser later on could potentially recontest, would definitely be a very, very viable option. Launching one on the Hindenburg, but I'm pretty sure that torpedo is already passed, and we've lost our ability to kill. Never mind. Yueyang actually F's himself up, so he didn't actually have the ability to dodge our torpedo, which is a pretty good spot of luck. We don't want to get too close to Alpha. Sure, the Minotaur is away, but there's still a Des Moines, and we don't necessarily want to try to contest that as long as the Hindenburg's alive. The Hindenburg will just automatically counter us in the island. The team needs to kill him, and we need to deal with him as well. It's kind of why I've just preferred F3s. The torpedoes, you know, just the sheer speed of the torpedoes is incredibly nice. Nope, he's dodged the entire bunch of those torpedoes. Launching single set like this, well, you want to get up to 6 kilometers to just launch that. But other than that, well, we're actually nabbing their back cap, their base cap. So for the moment, we still have points advantage. We're up a kill. Sure, we're low HP, but that doesn't really matter. If we have adrenaline rush, it just means faster torpedo reload. The enemy team is being split, so all we really need to do is just to focus on eliminating the enemy's Hindenburg. Probability of them having a destroyer over here is rather low. Chances are their destroyer will be heading back towards Charlie in an attempt to deal with that. Although I wouldn't count on that, but we do have a explosion available. But trying to launch on a Hindenburg from more than 7 kilometers away is pretty much just a waste. Its high-speed maneuverability is good enough to be able to evade torpedoes, and bow on launching like this is pretty much a waste of effort. If anything, we go a bit more towards A on the back end, just staying away from Des Moines and just spam torpedoes at him. But for the moment, if our guys can just HE spam the Hindenburg, he's going to have a really, really bad time. And chances are he's just going to be breaking away sometime soon, because I don't think he wants to stick around to stick an engagement that really isn't beneficial for him. And there we go, that answers where the enemy gearing is, so we have complete free play on this side of the map. We pretty much need to get in there and start dealing some damage. Otherwise, well, if we can't keep the pressure up, well, the fact that we're losing the back cap and the fact that we're likely going to lose the Charlie cap is bad news. But with the enemy Hindenburg having committed suicide on us, well, he probably didn't have a Hydra at that point. What this means is that we're actually able to get into the Alpha cap high behind an island, expecting these guys to not really be able to shoot at us. And well, we can see the HE coming out there. If we see, you know, basically just, oh, okay, this is my camera, but there we go, back to the player camera. We can figure out where the Des Moines are. We can figure out exactly how to park on the island. We should be completely safe, even if they do decide to radar us. We're going to lose a Charlie cap. Our gearing, I'm pretty sure he got away from the radar. And it looks like people aren't really too happy. But the Hindenburg was a bit too far and would not have made a turn without a Hydro, knowing there's a shimmy around. But regardless, looks like our Des Moines trying to push through, which is kind of awkward for him, but he's kind of in the cap. And he does spot the enemy Des Moines, so again, we can pretty much just go in for the cap if we want to. Though we do need to be careful because there is the chance that, well, for the moment, they're not going to have a reason to radar because he's in the cap. So we can take the chance to just sneak in. This guy's buggered. Do not get close to him. He's dead. There's nothing we can do for him. There's absolutely nothing we can do for him. Just account him as dead. Trying to smoke up would be a giant waste of our smoke. It's just going to result in him radaring, and we could need that later. Trying to move in this way is really, really bad. Tuck in like this. Again, like I've been saying, count him. Just write him off. He's dead. Nothing you can do for him. The radar's up. This is a waste of a smoke screen. And again, smoke screens like this prevent you from being able to spot things going around you, so do not ever panic smoke like this. Try to avoid that. It's just not good. Doesn't result in anything useful. For the moment, looks like we're getting the cap. The moin's going to get reset again, but it's not a big deal. Cap should go pretty fast. We need to not reverse too close to this guy so we don't accidentally get hit with him. Somebody does... Well, he actually does manage to kill the enemy with the moin, who is parked just at a bad angle. So that's a radar gone, and he actually makes it out of that right now. He does actually manage to get into the smoke, which is kind of useful in a way for him. But again, even without the smoke screen, he would have been invisible because nobody has direct line of sight, and that is way too far away. So again, he would have been completely undetected. Now to get spotted again, low HP, we are spotting him. No point in opening fire. Kerfuffle's behind that. We've got our torpedoes, wouldn't launch right now. Would save them up just to wipe out the Grosser first. We're taking back the Charlie cap, and hopefully somebody will be able to deal with that Minotaur. Going back to play a camera. Hopefully someone kills off the Yamato and stops shooting at the Grosser first. There we go. Our Monty does the job. All we need to do is to get up there, get around the Grosser first. Do not get within 5.88 kilometers of him, and launch some fish right up his broadside. T-93 M3s, they do have this deal that, well, if you don't get a perfect launch on them, they can, even 70k health at 6 kilometer launch, perfect launch is still a kill, but on full HP, if they have Hydro up, they can just turn away and, for the most part, generally be reasonably safe. Anyways, we're full dumping our torpedoes here. Again, a little bit on the far end. We could have tried to push for closer distance. We're not really at danger. We're not really in the danger zone. Looks like people are mad in chat. This is just what happens. Don't get mad in chat about stuff. It just, your name just gets remembered as a shitter, so yeah. Sod it. But anyways, we're having a reasonable game right now, and it looks like the Grosser first might be taking some more torpedoes. Hopefully someone kills that bloody Minotaur off so we don't get radared by him, which is just going to be awkward. But yeah, it looks like the Grosser first is about to have what's known as a rather intriguingly bad day, so he's... I'm not sure he's... Yeah, I think he's going to die to that if it gets central. We're not actually following the torpedoes. I think we were just doing that just to watch the show, but we do get the kill on him. F3s would have done the job as well if we just get close enough. T-93 M3s do the same thing if the guy isn't aware. If he didn't turn, I still think he would have died. Grosser first doesn't have the world's best torpedo bulge, but hey, that's pretty much most likely our contribution to the game. Things to pick up from this is entering into the cap. Be careful about where you want to go. Have a plan for entrance. Have a contingency plan for being radared, because let's be completely honest, Minotaur and Des Moines, the moment you enter that cap, you are getting radared. So just plan for that, prepare for that. I think we handled the entrance incredibly poorly. Sure, we played a ridiculous salvo to the Minotaur that, well, I mean, just don't expect that kind of stuff. It's incredibly rare. But we did also overskid, so we bled a little bit of increased damage to stuff behind. Again, when you're entering like that, just turn your bow into the island to get yourself rammed into it. The Minotaur is a threat, but he cannot shoot through islands. And for the most part, we can just sit behind here and do nothing for the rest of the game. With our game is basically... our game is basically done. This doesn't really matter. Even if we get ourselves killed, information on the Gearing's location could be alright. Plus, we could go up there and poke the Minotaur with our guns behind an island, but you know, it doesn't really matter. Other than that, once we got Alpha Cap, we could have been a bit more aggressive on the enemy Hindenburg, knowing that the Gearing just wasn't going to be around here. We also should have smoked up and poked the Yueyang to death. Risking those torpedoes would have been awkward, and there is a chance that if we didn't kill him up there, that, you know, after we likely radared on the way into Alpha just to figure out what's around the cap, and to be able to push it out. If we had smoked up and killed him during our Des Moines radar durations, well, we wouldn't have had the chance of torpedo kill on him. So I definitely think that that was a giant missed opportunity. Really think that, well, if we didn't get him with a torpedo, this game could have really been up for grabs for both teams. Even, you know, the Hindenburg pushing up, him being alive in the capture circle, Alpha side would have been having a bad day. Their battleships could have moved up, and they could have won through that means. So that definitely is something that you do need to consider shimmies. They do have more than just their torpedoes. They do have guns available. Do use them. If you get chased, do kite away and use those guns. There are a lot of things that you have going for you with the guns. They'll absorb damage because two of them are at the back. They're like 15 to 20% of your rear profile. Yeah, about 50%, 15 to 20% of your entire rear armor profile is no damage zone. Sure, the guns, you risk losing the gun turret, but it won't really damage the ship by taking HE behind you into the gun turrets. And your torpedoes do block up a little bit of additional damage with kiting away as well. So if you look at the ship images, like this area is a damage zone, the area surrounding it obviously is damage zone, a bit of damage zones around here, and of course the entire back end of the superstructure. The stuff on the front is pretty much it's blocked by the superstructure, which again will absorb damage and also saturate faster, so reduce damage you bleed overall. So yeah, definitely missed a opportunity to get rid of just to smoke up and kill this guy while he was in a bad position. Flanking in a shimmy is incredibly important since we decided to get on the alpha side. So bleeding the health in the beginning wasn't a bad thing. Well, it's a bad thing obviously, but it didn't really end up costing us anything too much. The missed opportunities they would have been missed whether we had the health or not. The smokescreen would have pretty much allowed us to safely enough engage the little bit of the health that needed to be engaged away on the Yueyang. And chances are, even if the Hindenburg did try to MLG us, they wouldn't really be able to kill us. It's down to the battleships MLGing us, but they're going to have to turn turrets. Yamato turrets don't turn fast enough, and the Kurfürst wasn't really close enough. On top of that, the Des Moines was far enough away he wouldn't have been able to radar us, and the Minotaur was well far away and not able to radar us either. So yeah, the second misplay, in my opinion, was not killing the Yueyang with guns. We got lucky to get him with a torpedo in the end, so I suppose all is fair. But this game could have looked incredibly different if that Yueyang had survived and been able to pressure our Western fleet, kill us off with a radar, and basically mop up the Western fleet, and we still didn't have the Eastern fleet secured. And even then, just a stalemate on the Western side wouldn't really be in our favor because our Eastern side wasn't necessarily winning so as handsomely as you may have wanted them to, at least just based on the map visuals, especially because they have a radar Minotaur, which can deal a lot of damage to the gearing that we had on the other side, likely being the cause of his death as well. Into the late stages, we did get some pretty good torpedo salvos, albeit having them all being launched from really far away. The Hindenburg somehow managed to take them all, probably didn't have a hydroacoustic search available, or didn't want to launch a plane. I think the Hindenburg is a port-side takeoff plane, so he could have launched the plane, covered the entire side of his torpedoes, and then broken away. Actually, I'm not sure if it's port-side or starboard takeoff, but even then it doesn't matter. He was bowing, so he could have just launched a plane, seen which side it flew to, had it covered that side, for torpedoes, and then make the turn. That would have been a good move for him, but he didn't clearly think about that, or didn't have the plane available. It was on cooldown or something. Hydro on cooldown, so he definitely made a bad move. If you want to be pushing up, especially knowing that there's a shimmy around, you're going to want to do it with a hydro. At least wait until your hydro is like 10 seconds left on the hydro, make your breakdown away at that moment, because the 10 seconds is enough to cover your entire away turn to the point where you're broadside. Even if it expires, then you know there are no torpedoes anywhere close enough to contest you as you're making your full breakaway, and from there on, it doesn't really matter too much. You'll be asked onto the torpedoes running away, so you'll have bonus time to evade. After that, though, getting rid of the Kurfürst was basically just bonus damage. We did get a good drop on him. Doesn't really matter which torpedoes, whether we had the 93 M3s or the F3 as our torpedoes. I don't really count the mod zeros. The 20k torpedoes are absolute crap. But the difference between T93 M3s and F3s is that a F3 launched against Hydro is still almost certainly a guaranteed kill against cruisers and battleships, even against that are stationary. You get a perfect launch against them, they're having a really bad day about it. If it's a cruiser that's already in a position to turn away or prepare to turn away, then F3s aren't going to get the kill up front on them, but even a battleship trying to pick up speed against F3 launch is going down. So it's kind of why I enjoyed F3s. But anyways, I do hope you guys enjoyed this replay analysis. Let's quickly have a look through the rest of the scoreboard. The damage we did wasn't really spread out. All of it was torpedo damage. In fact, we didn't fire a single gun shell. Definitely think missed out opportunities there, like I've mentioned. Credits and XP aren't really that big of a deal. And yeah, that's really about it. But anyways, this isn't going to be the only video today. I'm giving you guys a bonus video. It's going to be a strategic highlight. So we're going to be covering a map and the strategy behind the map, and a specific tactical move on the map, which I think could be very interesting for you guys to look at. So I hope to catch you guys there. Take care, and well, see you guys later.